Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited and kind of a little bit nervous for this video. Today we're going to be playing with the Colourpop and Kathleen Light's So Jaded collab. So this is Colourpop's first mega palette. It has beautiful shades in it. I'm really excited to get to play with this, but I wanted to do something with a little bit of a fun twist. We're going to be doing a his and hers makeup look today because my boyfriend is going to hop on and pick out some shades from the palette for me to be using for you guys. So I got this inspiration from Nikki Tutorials because she did a video, I believe it was with a Morphe palette, and she had her fiance pick out some shades from the palette, and she did a look on one side with his choices and she did a look on the other side with her choices. So I thought that would be kind of fun, and that'll be a way for us to go ahead and be able to pick out two different looks, and you guys will be able to see some different shades. So I did already film the portion with my boyfriend Jeremy picking out the colors, and you guys, let me tell you, he did not go easy on me with his color choices, although some of them I wasn't that surprised with. So I will go ahead and cut to that, and we will get back with some more details on the palette as we get started. Well, as you can see, I have a special guest today.
Hello.
Hi baby, how's it going?
Good.
Good. So this is my boyfriend Jeremy. He's been a really good sport and is going to help us out with the his and hers makeup challenge. So if you guys saw Nikki Tutorials when she did her Morphe Jeffree Star collab and she had her fiance pick out shades from the palette and she did a look using her colors and his colors, I thought that would be fun because I think you're a pretty creative person, so I thought it would be kind of interesting to see like what kind of color scheme you would come up with.
Can you go to work looking like a peacock?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting because I'm going to have half a look on one side and half a look on the other, so it'll be like two-faced. So I just told him to pick 5 shadows from the palette, and I did warn him though not to like use all shimmery shades, so hopefully I get at least like some sort of a matte in there to help me out. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to pick out those colors. Okay, so here we have the So Jaded palette, and I'm just going to like pass this over to you. And you can like take a second to look at it and see. I should have, I guess, brought something in to take notes so I can remember which ones you want.
So 5?
Yeah.
Any colors?
Yeah, any colors.
How many shimmery, how many matte?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I would like at least one matte. But this is your look, so. By the way, if you guys want to see a boyfriend does my makeup challenge, click like and we'll think about doing that in the future.
Gosh. I like this green here.
Okay, yep. The peridot color. Do you want to show them?
I'll try.
Yeah?
How do you do that?
No, that's only if you're just watching it.
Is this considered matte?
Almost, yeah. It's matte with shimmer in it. But that works.
Okay. I'm going to say this...
What is that? Ametrine?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a smoky mauve.
And then... For matte, I'm going to go here.
Oh my god. No, that's cool. I love that color, but... So he just picked Citrine, which is that like mustardy yellow shade.
This one?
Okay, my precious. Great. So we got a creamy, like neutral.
Then I'm going to put one more sparkly in there.
Okay.
I want to go that
one. Are you digging your finger in my palette?
No. This one.
Okay. So Ruby. Okay.
I've never handled makeup before.
It's okay. Okay, so Ruby, Peridot, my precious, Ametrine, and Citrine. Okay. Whew. Okay. Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one that you picked?
I really like
the Peridot. Okay.
Yeah. That one.
And the Ruby. Yeah. Okay. You really went colorful. Okay. Cool. I'm excited. What do you think I'm gonna kind of pick? Any ideas?
For the other side of your face?
Yeah.
You already have this mapped out?
No, because I wanted to see what you would pick, because I'm gonna pick.
I feel like you'd do a lot. You'd probably do that with maybe a little bit of this and that.
Okay. All right. That's funny because at least one or two of those are ones that I was thinking about doing just after you picked. So
they're kind of harmonious.
Yeah, yeah.
Which mine are not.
No, they're not. That's okay. You're giving me a challenge. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just being a good partner.
You give me a challenge, and I like it. Thank you for coming on. Mm-hmm. So if you guys want to see more of him in the future, I think it would be fun to do a boyfriend does my makeup, because he's very creative, and he's watched enough of my YouTube videos and probably watched me do enough makeup that do you feel like you could do a good job with that?
Not yet.
Not yet? No. Okay. Well, let me know if you guys want to see that.
All right. Bye.
So you guys can see I definitely have my work cut out for me. So just so that it's easier for you guys to see, I will insert a clip of this palette just so you guys can see up close the beautiful shades, and then you can see a little bit more of what we're working with. Okay, I'm like a little nervous. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna go with this, but I know I'm gonna use that peridot shade as kind of like more of the main color. The one that's throwing me off is that ametrine. So I am really excited that he chose that ruby shade, because that means I get to use the Colourpop Joyride liner. If you guys saw my last video, I was really excited because I got that with my Colourpop order with the Pretty Fresh collection. By the way, if you haven't seen that video and you'd like to know more about what's on my face, I went ahead and filmed a first impressions video on the whole Pretty Fresh collection right before I did this, so go ahead and check that out. I'll link it in the description box below. But I am really excited to use this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start out with a little bit of the Urban Decay, I believe this is Eden, just to go ahead and lay that down. Because we're working with such vibrant colors, I wanna be able to really like see the pop. Because all I had on before this was some concealer and a little bit of translucent like setting powder. Just getting that all blended in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, especially through the crease, I'm gonna work that color. And this is obviously like that shade that no one is going to get super excited about, but everybody needs in a palette, like a little like cream transition shade. So this is definitely, you know, if you want to be able to have a palette that is going to be, you know, versatile and that you can use a lot, you need to have those like boring, if you will, shades in it. So this palette is $39, which for, you know, 30 shadows is really a pretty good deal, and if they all perform great, I think that's a great value. And while there's a lot of color in the palette, it's not like there's so much like that you can't travel with it, because the size of it isn't too big. I would probably still be okay with traveling with this. It doesn't have a mirror in it, which is really neither here nor there with me, especially with these like bigger palettes. That mirror is a little bit more cumbersome to use while you're you know, like working with your shadows, so I don't think that I'd necessarily want a big palette with a mirror in it to try to be working with, and I'm always afraid that I'm going to be like digging my finger into it as I'm using it as a mirror, so it's not really a big thing for me. So we're going to work that ametrine color into the crease. And this is just a Sigma E25 blending brush. This color is really pretty. I think that most of the micro shimmers like kick off, which doesn't really surprise me. I bet if you used it and packed it on with a flat brush, you might be able to see a little bit more of that, but I'm actually okay with not really like seeing much of that come through. Okay, taking that peridot color on a Sigma concealer brush. This is the F75. Using a little bit of Fix Plus, of course, just to get a little bit more intensity. Yeah, this is like a super pretty shade. Yeah, honestly, like I feel like the only color now, if he had not picked that ametrine color, the one that I just put in my crease, I think this, well, we'll see how cohesive this ends up being. I'll just put it that way. If you guys can see that color, it's so pretty. Might take a little bit on my finger and just try to pack that on even more. Whew, that is like one vibrant green. And then we're gonna take citrine on the inner corner. This color is like coming up on my lid pretty deep. I'm a little bit surprised that it's definitely like a more grungy tone. I'm going to take that brush that we originally had the mauve shade on and just soften that line between the peridot. Like, I still want it to be pretty defined. So I have errands to run after this. Like, I have to go to Whole Foods, do a few things. So I'm probably going to have to either at least wipe off one eye and recreate it on the other side or something. I don't know. And I don't know why, because I don't necessarily think I want to see more of this color in my crease, but I feel like I need something like up here. I don't know, I might, what do you think? Should I pack the citrine on the outside too? So obviously this is just like old school YouTube beauty video days where like people would just actually have fun and play with makeup and not be worried about selling everything. So I'm actually liking that now that I brought that citrine in a little bit. So it's really hard to blend a yellow into a mauve into a green, but we're gonna go with it. Once we get a little bit of winged liner on, I think it'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up my under eye a little bit. Took some Bioderma and wiped off, because I had a little bit of like not even necessarily fallout, honestly. I think it was when I was blending that citrine shade in, it just kind of like got onto my lower eye. So I'm gonna just take and redo this. And I'm almost using my concealer to like really sharpen up the edge of that shade. So you see how that just like gives you a much cleaner, sharper edge again. So it just looks like more defined. So obviously if you didn't already have your foundation on, you could just go ahead and like use like a micellar water or a makeup remover on a Q-tip and just really clean that up sharply. If you know, and then you would be able to go through with your foundation and everything. So that's definitely something that I like to do, just to keep that edge really sharp. And then you don't have to use, like, I know a lot of people will use like masking tape or scotch tape, and I don't ever like tape my eyes like that. You can really get it just the same look by just doing that little trick. My face is feeling really dry today, so I'll definitely do another dose of the Pretty Fresh, that hyaluronic acid like setting mist, because I'm feeling like, so hopefully that'll give us a little extra moisture. So I'm going to take citrine down onto my inner corner. Okay, so now we'll go through with a little bit of that Joyride liner, and I'm just going to try to get this as close to my lash line as possible. So I've just got a really tiny line. That color is really pretty, and this liner is super creamy. The ruby shade in here, when I do a finger swatch of it, I'll show you guys, it's not like a ready, like if you guys can see that, it's almost more like, it has like a warmth to it, and it's, I mean, fairly sheer, and that's obviously just with my finger drive, but it's not like super intense. So I just wanted to give it a little bit more like oomph, and then we can just smudge that into the Joyride liner. So I've just got a little bit on a pencil brush from Sigma, and take that just a little bit more of the Fix Plus to go ahead and draw that out. It'll just intensify that tone a little bit. Then I'm just going to take a brush with a little bit of that My Precious on it and just blur that line a little bit. So I might go in with a little bit more of that ruby. Where the Colourpop Joyride liner is, the color is going to be darker and more intense, and then as it works its way out, it'll be a little bit more blurred. So I'm just trying to get like a slightly smoky effect from that. And I think I'm going to layer, I'm going to try, we'll see, I'm going to layer a little bit of that ruby over the top of where citrine meets. And that'll make it almost like a little bit more orangey on the bottom. Because obviously that ruby is like a red base, but it does have that golden like shift to it. So I'm gonna try, I'm probably gonna end up regretting this, but I'm gonna bring ruby up a little bit. Onto, like overlap that citrine that I put on that outer V. I'm just trying to make all these colors work, and I'm kind of failing at it, but you know, that's all right. It's just makeup. I can tell you right now, Jeremy is not going to like this, which kind of surprises me because like all of the colors are definitely colors that he would like, but he really likes a little bit more of like a natural look. So to have picked out so many bold colors to go together, I guess I don't know, like, I think it's just like, ooh, pretty colors, right? Okay, I think we're at a good stopping point. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some liner and some mascara, and we'll see how it looks once it's all done. Okay, so it's amazing what a little liner and some mascara can do, because now I actually really like this look. I mean, it's obviously not going to be like your everyday office eye, right? But I think it's really fun and pretty. I think I could see like wearing this actually. So look at that. He did a good job picking out some colors. So I can't wait to play with these colors a little bit more. Obviously, I was working with some pretty hard to blend together shades, like as far as like tones. But I think it's kind of fun. It sort of has like a Birds of Paradise vibe. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this side of the look. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of highlight, and I'm actually gonna use the Pearl shade right from the palette. And just try that on. Wow, that makes a really pretty highlight. I wonder if there's something in here that would work. Oh, no. I was going to say if there's something in here that would work as a bronzer, you could totally like make this a impromptu face palette, but there's not really anything that would bronze. So there's that Pearl shade, just so you guys can see another color Let me back up out of the light a little bit. So there's that pearl shade. You guys can see that just for another shade out of the palette. And for lips on this side, I'm just gonna go through, oh, wow, I've used up a whole Tawny Jordana lip liner. So we'll just line. Okay, so I've lined my lips with the Tawny color. Obviously I need something just really neutral. We don't need any more color, so I'm gonna go grab a gloss. This is actually a Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in Master Plan. This is actually more of like a mauve-y, purpley, but I'm just gonna put a little bit. And blend it into that tawny shade so you guys can see. I really like it. Kind of fun, right? I look like so different, like the power of makeup, right? All right, so now my turn. I'm gonna use Tiger Eye, and other than that, I'm not quite sure. So I think I'm gonna use Tiger Eye here. That looks so pretty. I love this Jasper shade. Of course, I love Carnelian. Stoned looks really cool. So I might just play around with some of these. Rose Quartz is really pretty. So I'm probably just gonna do like a green and sort of like murky mauve orange thing going on. Honestly, I have not used these primer potions in a really long time. Lid color is definitely vibrant on that other eye. So honestly, most days I usually use just concealer as my eye primer, but I think that there are times where it's nice to have that little extra insurance. First, we're gonna go ahead and start off with Rose Quartz in our crease, just as like a nice little transition. Holy smokes, that color, you guys see that? That is like way more pigmented than what I think. Can you guys see? It's the second one over. So I think it's way more pigmented than what I would have expected. So I can hear that Jeremy just got home, so maybe we will throw him in for a clip just so he can see his eye look done. So sorry if you guys are gonna hear a little bit of that going on upstairs. So this Rose Quartz is like on the eye, it looks very similar to that shade that I keep forgetting, the one over here. Like, they're pretty close. I thought it was going to be like a dusty, smoky color. Don't you guys think that looks really similar? Okay, well, let's go with something a little warmer than that over the top. We're gonna place Your Gem over the top of this just to like warm it up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. That almost looks, it's looking like kind of like a grungy peach. Okay, we're back. So Jeremy's here and I'm gonna give him a little show of his eye look. He hasn't seen it yet. I've been walking around like a pirate. So let's go ahead and do the final reveal.
Wow.
What do you think?
It's what I envisioned.
Is it? Is it kind of, did I put colors where you thought they'd be?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I thought you would do the red on this part of your eye.
Oh, on the inside?
And then green out. But
oh.
But you went with the green as the, because I feel like you usually wear a lot of warm.
Yeah, I
colors.
do. Yeah.
It's cool. It is kind of peacocky.
Yeah, so I said like bird of paradise. That's funny because I was like, I feel like a bird of paradise. I added a little bit of this liner to like the bottom because the shade is like
similar.
Yeah, and it's it's not like super, I don't know, it just like to make it more pigmented, but man, it really, is it matching? That purpley shade in the top like really was throwing me off, but because I think it could be really pretty, like the green, the yellow, and the red, or the green and the purple actually looked really pretty too, but so. Cool.
It's weird looking at you like half done.
I know, yeah, right? That's because I like put lipstick on this half and everything. So you did a pretty good job picking out colors.
I like this side better.
Oh, so it's funny because I actually said, I'm like, so I'm going to tell you guys right now, Jeremy's not going to like this because you usually like a more natural look.
I just like your face better.
That is my face. It's just my face decorated. But I was surprised. I think you just went for like really fun colors as opposed to like something you'd want to see me wear.
Not necessarily.
Really?
I really like that chartreusey color.
The peridot color.
It's one of my favorite colors.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted to make it the center of the lid color because it'd be like the most of the color. So it'll be a fun one to play with more. Like not with all of the other colors, but so thank you for getting to play with me today. Yeah. I appreciate it.
My first time on camera.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see more of him, let me know in the comment bar down below. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see him in future videos.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, right? All the things.
Right, all the things.
They really do help.
Yeah. Thanks, baby. I love you. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. So I just took that Euro Gem shade and warmed up that crease a little bit more. I thought that Rose Quartz shade, I mean, obviously it's got rose in the name, so you know it's going to be kind of like mauve-y, but in the pan it honestly looked like a dusty beige to me, so that's kind of a surprise. All right, so let's try out that Tiger Eye shade so that I can really see what I want to pair it with. I'm pretty sure I already know, but I'm going to take a little bit. And this is a MAC 242. Again, a little bit of Fix Plus. So this is like one of those not quite brown, not quite green sort of shades, I feel like. That is really pretty. This is one of those shades that is going to look good on pretty much everybody. It's just that like kind of, yeah, it's like a brown with a little bit of like khaki to it. I really like it. Taking another Sigma E36 brush, I'm going to take some of that Jasper shade, which is, I don't know. It's like kind of like that warm or like a cooler terracotta. I'm going to be really, really horrible at explaining things today, evidently. And I'm just taking that deep into the crease. So when I was watching Kathleen's video on this palette, I honestly, like, when it first came out, I was like, oh, I don't need that. Like, I'll wait a little bit. And then like 5 days later, I was like, who am I kidding? I buy all of Colourpop and Kathleen's collabs pretty much. I have the Dream Street and the Zodiac palette and love those. And so I was like, okay, why didn't I buy this? And then by the time I went to go get it, of course, it was sold out and out of stock. So I had to wait. But the shades that really like intrigued me when I bought the palette was Jasper, Citrine, Carnelian, as far as like the mattes go. And so we're using those today. I'm definitely going to use Carnelian probably on the lower lash line. But I just think that there's like, you first look at it and you're like, wow, that's a lot of like color, but everything is a little understated, I think, as far as like the colors go. So really everything's going to be wearable in a way. I mean, you don't have to look like this, right? So I definitely, this Jasper shade was one that I was like, yes, I know I would use that. It's definitely my jam. So I'm glad I get to use it today. So we'll take a little bit of Stoned on a, this is the Luxie mini round brush. And I'm gonna try tapping that just in the outer V. I've kind of lost track on how many colors I've used, but this is my look. I can do what I want. That color is really pretty. It's just like a, it's like a gray, but it's not like a blue based gray. It's like almost more of that like greeny brown. Yeah, it's almost more of like a green brown based gray. So we'll work this in. Super pretty. Like this really is a look that I would wear a lot. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that You're a Gem. Okay, so I've got Carnelian on a Wayne Goss number 5. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Smoke shade. So let's go ahead and go through with Moonstone. And I'm using that on a crown brush. This Moonstone shade is really pretty. It's sort of like a champagne, but it has, you guys probably won't be able to see it very well, but it has like little micro flecks of like a bluey purple to it. It's like a very unique color. I bet that if you don't mind a little bit of like shimmer in your highlight, I bet that would make a really pretty highlight. Maybe that's what we'll use on this side. Okay, so just taking a bit more of that Carnelian. And then I'm just gonna take some of that Tiger's Eye on my finger and give that a little press. So this may seem really weird, but I feel like when I used the Tiger's Eye shade wet, it has this more like mossy brown shade to it. And then when I just like pressed it in with my finger dry, it looked a little bit more like a golden brown. And I want more of that like mossy brown. So I just went back over it wet with the MAC brush. So that's really interesting, but that's kind of nice because then you could make it really into 2 shadows. So I really like that. And I think honestly for this look, I'm just gonna skip liner because I don't, on the regular, I don't wear eyeliner every day. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up the under eye a little bit here. Should we try Moonstone out on our cheek? So there's Pearl on that side and then Moonstone on this side. So this is definitely a little bit more unique, but it does look a little bit more textured just because of those little like micro shimmers. So it kind of just depends on your preference, but this one is a little bit more like warm and glowy, like not warm, but more champagne-y. And this one looks a little bit more cool tone just because of those little like micro flecks. So very pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off, go ahead and put on some mascara. I'll come back to set and finish with the lip for this side. Okay, so here we have the final eye look on this side. And I think for this, I know I already have a little blush from my last video, but I do think just with this eye look, I want a little bit more warmth. So I'm gonna take the Shayla and Colourpop Under Construction collab. This is Construct, and just add a little bit more blush. See that just, I feel like that like kind of ties it in. Whereas this side, I don't feel like I need quite as much because we got a lot of eye makeup on. Okay, so there's the final look for the face. I think that the blush just really like ties in that extra warmth that we need, a little bit of extra color. And I think I'm gonna try this Bright Pop. I'm gonna just use a little bit and kind of blend it into my lips. But this is Naked Ladies from Colourpop. This like tube is totally destroyed on the outside. But honestly, like this color, I don't even think you can get anymore. That's the one thing about Colourpop is obviously they have a ton of launches and that's super fun and you get all sorts of great colors, but they discontinue everything pretty fast. So I'm just gonna use this to give a little wash of color. So that's kind of fun. Now I definitely feel like very two-faced. So let's go ahead and I'll zoom you guys out and we can go through my final thoughts on the palette. Final thoughts on this palette, you know, it's not like I've used all of them by any means, but we did use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We used 12 shades out of the 30 today. And so I think that gives me a pretty good idea. Obviously, the one thing that I'll have to try out in the future are those 2 glitter shades. Because you do get the one, and sorry, I totally was so excited to play with this. I don't even think I really went into all the details of the palette. So obviously I told you guys there are 30 shadows. You get 1 Super Shock shadow, which is that diamond color up in the corner, and that really just almost looks like more of like a glitter topper. And then Topaz and Opal are going to be your pressed glitter shades, and then the rest are a mix of your more like metallic and satin to matte shades. So I'm really excited to play with this. I thought everything was pretty good quality. I do think that these are like a more muted version of jewel tones, and I think that that is actually going to be great for people who are looking for a more wearable way to do color, because like I said, that ruby shade was definitely more like a wash of color. It's like a ruby wash with a little bit of warmth to it. Peridot was like straight out like blinding. So I think a couple of these metallics are going to be really like strong, but a couple of them are more like subtle washes of tone. So I'll be interested to play with this for, you know, basically $40. I think that that's a really good value for this palette. If you think you're getting a good amount of shadows, a lot to play with. I love the packaging. It's so pretty. I think, like I said, I mean, this is not for me too much to travel with. So I think that this is something that I can see if I want that pop of color to travel with. Obviously, there is not a black in this or a really dark brown. That is the one thing that I feel like I'm kind of missing from this, is either a black or a really, really dark brown, because that stone shade is more of that like browny green gray, and that jasper shade is, you know, more like a mid-tone brown to me, and it's got that warmth to it. Sapphire is obviously like a deep navy blue matte, so that would be the one thing that I would have replaced. And in all honesty, on that lid, I felt like rose quartz and ametrine looked very similar, or like I'm wondering how rose quartz and royal jewels will look. So I'll just have to see with that. That's the one thing, is I think there are a couple shades in here that could have been switched around, but other than that, I think Kathleen did a great job. Colourpop always has great eyeshadow, so I hope you guys have enjoyed getting to see me do these 2 looks. I think it's a lot of fun, and you know, I think it's fun getting to have my partner in life on the channel to help sort of like pick out some colors, because I think if someone else picks out colors, like it really pushes you out of your comfort zone. And sometimes that's what makeup is all about, is just like trying something new, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Let me know down below if you would like to see more looks from this palette. I know there's a lot out there right now, so if you guys feel like you are good to go, then that's great. But if you would really like to see some more looks, then I am more than happy to provide. So thanks again for hanging out with me today and playing with some makeup, and I will see you really soon.